What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now, in this video, I'll be taking you guys to the most up-to-date ELITE64 team selection as possible. Now, this ELITE64 team selection might be slightly shorter than usual, and unfortunately, I'm under some time constraints, but don't worry, this video is going to be jam-packed with information all about the ELITE64. I'm going to cover all the main talking points. Those talking points will include the overall rank currently of the ELITE64. When we move on to the current template based on ownership, then finally wrapping up the video is going to be the team selection heading into the upcoming Game Week 16 deadline. Now, if you guys don't know what the ELITE64 is, it's FPL General's Invitational League, and all you have to know is it's basically 64 of the best managers in the world. So if you guys are interested in this video, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So first, detailing the overall ranks, and don't worry, come Game Week 16, the overall ranks won't matter too much. The only rank that matters is your Game Week 38 rank, but it's nice to see where the kind of ELITE64 are currently sitting at. So in terms of the top 10k, 3.1% of the ELITE64 in the top 10k, a slight rise from the previous video that we did create, and these increases can be seen yet again in the top 100k, which is now 15.6%. Now, there's been a massive increase in the top 1 million managers. Just under 80% of the ELITE64 are within the top 1 million ranks, which just shows you that even if you guys are at this rank, you guys can still improve. So why I'm showing this talking point is please don't think the season is over because you have a bad rank at the current moment. Just think about it, at least 20% of the ELITE64 aren't even within the top 1 million. But now going on to the actual ELITE64 template team. If this is your first time watching the ELITE64 team selection, what we're going to be doing in this talking point is basically going over the highest owned options in each department: goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and then finally forwards. So no, you guys can't afford this team, or you might actually be able to, but this is based on ownership and not kind of expense. So starting off our goalkeeper department, the pairing has stayed exactly the same. Danny Ward and Nick Pope, exact same ownership stats. Just shows you that the ELITE64 aren't using transfers at this late stage before the wildcard on goalkeepers. So both with kind of fairly similar ownerships, and I'd assume that most managers actually own both of these two assets. They go on to the defensive department, and the only 100% owned option in this entire talking point is going to be Kieran Trippier from Newcastle. Now, you guys can obviously understand that Trippier has been a massive asset to FPL this Premier League season, getting a nice little haul in Game Week 15 even. So if you guys don't own Kieran Trippier, maybe Game Week 16 against Chelsea at home isn't the game week to bring them in, but on that wild card, I definitely look at him. The next up is going to be Cancelo with just under 94% ownership. Now, his ownership might actually drop, but please don't transfer him out because you think he's suspended. He's not suspended for Game Week 16. He's suspended for the League Cup game tomorrow against Chelsea. Then rounding out our top 3 ownership defenders is going to be Gay from Crystal Palace at just under 61%. So these first 3 options are definitely the highest owned defenders to actually look at. So if you guys are going to look for a template back 3, these are the assets to look at. Then the final 2 options are going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold and Doherty, both at just under 22%, 21.9% to be precise. So if you guys do want to go for Trent as a differential, still going to be a nice one. With the Doherty pick, I mean, if he does start against Leeds at home on the weekend, that could be a great shout to go for, but he's always one that suffers from rotation. Now heading into midfield department, and no 100% owned option here. The closest we do have is Martinelli at 92.2%, then Mo Salah as well at just under 80%. So these 2 assets are the 2 highest owned options to look at. So if you guys did keep Salah for Game Week 15, unfortunately transfer him out. So I'm one of these managers that don't own him at the current moment, but at least 80% would have been pretty happy for Game Week 15. Then Martinelli obviously provides great value for money, so he's going nowhere in most managers' teams. We then have his colleague Saka at 56.3%, so great asset to also own. Unfortunately, he hasn't really kicked on over these prior game weeks, but Game Week 16 could be where he actually hauls. Talking about kind of hauling, Game Week 15, it was Wilfried Zaha. He comes in with just above 53%, so at least half of the ELITE64 had that patience and they were repaid. We will see if that patience is repaid for that 57% that own Phil Foden, as with his benching in Game Week 15, who kind of knows if he's going to start on the weekend. But if you want to keep your eyes on, and as Man City do play the first game of the game week, we're going to look for some early team news yet again. Talking about early team news, we're going to mention Erling Haaland in our forward department, 84.4%. So yes, a massive dip in ownership, was owned by about 100% of the ELITE64 2 game weeks ago. So we have seen a decrease in his ownership. Now we did get news today that he might actually be out for Game Week 16. So please make sure that you guys look out for early team news, as he seems to be still struggling with this injury. Talking about injuries, Mitrovic missed Game Week 15, wasn't even on the bench. It's a little bit unfortunate if you guys did keep him, but chances are you might have got Pereira off your bench. Now Mitrovic will be a popular transfer out for some other assets to kind of look at, especially Darwin Núñez from Liverpool. So after this game, we're expecting quite a dip in ownership of Mitrovic that is owned by about 60% of managers. And the final option, thanks to probably some transfers in from Game Week 15, is Callum Wilson at 42.2%. So as mentioned, the transfers in for Game Week 15 were massive for Callum Wilson. So what does he go and do? He gets subbed at half time for a 1-pointer. So this shows you, if you kind of go points chasing, or at least you transfer an option that was sick, it might come back to bite you. But as you guys can see, in terms of the departments, definitely some more highly owned options. The back 3 of Trippier, Cancelo, and Gay is going to be the template. Then we do have some more medium ownership stats in the midfield. But leave me in the comments down below, how many of these assets do you guys own? For my own team, it's super template. I just have kind of an Anderson over a Gay, but the rest of the team or the starting 11 looks pretty predictable. Now the final talking point to go over is going to be all about the starting 11, and now I'm going to be kind of predicting the team selection for the upcoming game week of the ELITE64. So in terms of transfers, the 1 week punts are going to be immense for this upcoming game week. As you guys know, game week 17 is going to be the wild card, and I already mentioned a 1 week punt that I'd probably go for, Darwin Núñez in for Mitrovic. So if you guys can afford that move, definitely look at it, and also Phil Foden maybe out if he doesn't start on the weekend. But in terms of our starting kind of lineup, going to start off with the bench. Danny Ward, Andreas Doherty, and Neko Williams are all going to be on the bench, and they kind of pick themselves. Now yes, Doherty could start against Leeds, might be a massive game for him, but I think he is a rotation risk, and that's how I've benched him for this one. Then if we are benching Danny Ward, obviously Nick Pope is going to be starting. Now this Chelsea at home game is a little bit worrying for me. That's why you guys could go for Danny Ward, but I just think that I trust the Newcastle defense slightly more. But if you had a debate to go for between Nick Pope and Danny Ward for the upcoming game week, so if you guys do own both of them, who are you starting? Then continue into our back line. Trippier against Chelsea at home has had some massive attacking threats, so I'm starting him here alongside Cancelo and also Gay. So please remember, yet another reminder that Cancelo is not suspended for game week 16. He's suspended for the League Cup game tomorrow against Chelsea and should be fine for the weekend. Then heading on to midfield department, Salah against Southampton home is a great fixture, Martinelli against Wolves away, as well as Zaha against Forest away are all great fixtures on paper. We then move on to Phil Foden, and if he does start on the weekend, definitely a massive shout to go for, but I do have my reservations. Then our final department to go over the forwards, Haaland has a great fixture against Brentford home. If he does start, captaincy option right there, so I'm going to put the captaincy on him right now, but if he doesn't start, obviously we will change that around. Within Mitrovic against United at home, if he is going to be back from injury, might be an option for the upcoming game week. Then finally, Callum Wilson also is kind of recovering from that sickness. He might be ready for game week 16 or not, but at the end of the day, he does have Chelsea at home, which is a tough game, but Newcastle have been attacking pretty well. But as you guys can see, in terms of the starting 11, pretty strong starting 11 for the upcoming game week 16. Yes, you might have 1 or 2 changes according to kind of early team use. Phil Foden and Haaland might be kind of chances out, but the popular move of Darwin Núñez in for Mitrovic should be the one to go for. But let me know what chances you guys are doing for the upcoming game week 16, and how similar does your team look to this one. But this is basically a wrap of the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'm going to sign off with Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.